Hey, Aurora. I am doing pretty well. How about you? And how are Allie and Link? Hey, Kimberly. It has been quite a while. I don't even remember how long. I think I looked the other day and I was telling Melanie, has it really been that long since you've done a close-up? And it has. Life stays extremely busy. All I really know at this point is that the last time I checked in on Victoria, the girl who has Victoria and Caitlin was about to have surgery. I don't know what kind of surgery or anything like that. So I didn't push the issue. I didn't really ask. I just said I hope everything is okay and that surgery goes well, and I left it at that. Now that's been a couple of weeks ago. So your guess is as good as mine. But honestly, I'm perfectly okay with Copper being where he is. I wish this thing was a different color, because look, see how the color changes? It's like it's trying to compensate for all the blue and yeah, I'm really upset to have to to have to keep Copper. My only concern is, will I catch any grief for it here? Otherwise, he's happy, I'm happy. He would much rather be in a home where he could, jump in a bed and be around somebody all the time, but I guess this is the next best thing. Hey, Lily. And Copper is doing his best to test the gears in this thing. You're supposed to let it spin, Copper. You're not supposed to just grab it and lay there. But yeah, it's been a while, so. And I was up here. I was doing doing my favorite thing in the world that I have to do. I was doing some repairs to the truck this afternoon, so I got off work early and I went home to get started on that. I did that till about dark, or maybe a little before dark, knowing that I had to come back up here. Hey, Larry. Everybody's doing good. Stella has a little bit of a, what they call a hot spot, I guess, at the base of her tail. We've been putting medicine on it every day, and it seemed like the more we put medicine on it, the more she refused to leave it alone. And it started looking better when we stopped putting the medicine on it, until today when Melanie said she licked the scab off of it. So we had to put medicine on it again. And I don't know, if she keeps going, we're gonna have to do the cone of shame. I don't want to do that to her, but if it's the only way we can get her to leave it alone, that may be what we have to do. Oh, and very recent news, when I got here, I had everybody's food down. Stumpy was very disinterested in her wet food. So she was laying over here, like right there on the floor. And I was sitting over there in my chair. And while she was laying there, she was looking up here somewhere. I don't know, above my head. She kept staring at it. I couldn't figure out what she was staring at. And then all of a sudden I saw a giant flying cockroach. Let's turn that off a second. But yeah, a giant flying cockroach flew like this way and then landed right there, and Stumpy immediately pounced on it and picked it up, and I had to chase Stumpy down, and I didn't have to grab it, fortunately, but she dropped it when I got my hands on her. But the thing was huge. And Stumpy doesn't need to eat cockroaches. Clara, and speaking of cockroaches, that's where the cockroach is, where Clara is trying to get in. He should be dead, but who knows? They can live through a nuclear holocaust. I don't know for sure that I've completely killed him, but he's damaged enough where he won't be crawling out of that garbage can anyway. Yeah, I'm just glad I was here to stop her. I know the pest control guy was here a few days ago, and the one guy that regularly comes up here, every now and then it's a different person, but the guy that normally comes up here, he's awesome. I mean, he says he has 8 cats, and he knows he doesn't have to spray a lot up here, because if there's a bug, 9 times out of 10, if the cats see it, they're gonna get it. So he just goes in the areas where the cats don't go, and he sprays in there. But my fear was that the roach had gotten into the poison, and Stumpy was going to try to eat it and all of that. Not to mention it's gross. Stumpy. Hey, Fern. But yeah, other updates. Clara had miliary dermatitis, and she was, I think I might have done a close-up a while back when Clara had kind of like some hair loss on her ears. Well, the first couple of visits we had to the vet didn't really take care of that. So the last visit, I guess that would have been I don't remember if it was the 3rd visit, something like that. But they gave her a shot. They gave her a convenience shot and a different kind of ointment to put on her ears, and that seems to have done the trick. She's not scratching like she was. Her ears are feeling and looking better. The little scabby feeling things that were on her neck are gone. So The vet said it was some type of allergy that triggered that, and I think it all goes back to when I tried that litter the one time, and I wish they had given her that shot the very first time I took her to the vet. Probably would have knocked it out way sooner. But alas, she is back to being Clara, and hopefully not turning into a football again. She started to get a little pudgy again, but we've got a measuring cup up here now to do portion control, so maybe she won't get any bigger. All right, Copper. I'm gonna have to get this away from him somehow, and I really don't want to reach down there and grab it because Mr. Copper needs a claw trim again, and you're gonna make me grab it. And he's gonna grab me, and I'm gonna scream. There we go. All right. Oh, I had it. Yeah, I forgot to put that away last night. Bear with me, guys. I'm gonna try to put this away, and we'll play with the other toys. Yeah, I forgot to put this away last night. Fortunately, they did not destroy it. So, Kimberly, you'll have to update me on the petition. I don't know if I'm familiar with that. Watch out, Copper. Or I'll just step over you. Ow! Man, you need a claw trim again. Bet we could trim this guy's claws every other day. They grow like crazy. I stay so busy that I rarely get to pop in to look at the chat and all of that, so forgive me for not being up to speed on that. Copper, are you gonna let anybody else play, or just you? Yeah. Well, it sounds like that's what they needed. Hopefully they'll get it. No, it's not enough, but for whatever reason, lawmakers do not take animals as seriously as they should. And I fail to understand why. I've been in contact with our local state representative who I think gave me some lip service the first time I reached out to him. He's like, oh yeah, I agree. I'm gonna do this. And I haven't heard from him again since. Well, that's good work, Kimberly. We all need to advocate. I don't know if you guys are up to speed on everything that's happened with the shelter that I pulled the 3 cats from. Maybe Melanie has kept you up to date. If so, I won't repeat all of that. You're not gonna let it go now, are you? It's yours now, isn't it? It is, Fern. So, in a nutshell, you guys know I pulled the 3 cats. No more fake accounts yet that I'm aware of. Try to keep it short and sweet on how everything went down, and as Copper snatches the thing out of my hand. So you guys know I pulled the cats. The orange cat went to the vet and had to stay the same day that I got the cats. Then I had to drop the orange one off, and he had to be, well, it had to be boarded. I'll get to that in a minute, but the other 2 went to the foster. As it turns out, both of those guys were sick, or both of those gals. They were females. Both of those were sick. They went to be checked at the vet on Monday a week ago. Gracie, the declawed cat, was pretty sick. Had a lot of respiratory issues going on. They wanted to keep her and give her nebulizer treatments. And they let Sadie, the other cat, go home. Well, Sadie was supposed to go back the following Thursday to be rechecked, and when she came back to be rechecked, the vet said he wasn't happy with the amount of progress she had made, so they decided to board her so she could have the nebulizer treatments. But by then, Gracie was well enough to go back to the foster's house, so they basically traded places for a couple of days. The following Saturday, Sadie was picked up. Or no, I'm sorry, the following Monday. Saturday, I got a call from the vet about the orange cat. The orange cat is not a male. The orange cat is a female, despite being told in all the text messages and the phone conversations and on the rabies certificate that they gave me, which might not even match the cat. The orange cat is a female. She was having respiratory issues, which we already knew. Flea allergy, I assume. He didn't say that, but that's the only thing that I could figure was causing the balding at the base of her tail. And also pancreatitis, and is there something else? No, he was going to check her thyroid and all of that. But thyroid all checked out normal, and pancreatitis is improving as she gains weight. She's eating a lot now. He seems to think she was not eating very much while she was in the shelter. Now, whether that was stress, or the other cats were being territorial, or she was just, I don't know. Maybe it was the respiratory issue. She didn't feel good. There was something going on, and she was not getting enough nutrition at the shelter for whatever reason. But no, nobody noticed any signs or symptoms. Nobody was showing symptoms. Nobody knew they were sick. The director told me all these stories about how, she felt so terrible about the condition of the cats, which you guys know about the fake profiles that popped up. Those went away pretty quick when we threatened legal action. But that all started when last Monday, is it last Monday? Yeah, last Monday, I got a call from the director of the shelter. Well, after everything that had gone on, despite being told they're 100% healthy, they're all up to date, they all get along with other cats, I wasn't real happy with her. So I didn't answer the call. Tuesday night, I got a call again, around the same time. I didn't answer it. So then I get a long text that says, you know, it's all apologetic. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible about the condition of the cats. You know, and I asked all the people at the shelter, and nobody knew they were in that condition. You know, they never showed any symptoms. And by then I was really mad. I slept on that text until the next morning. And then I thought about it, and I said, you know, one of the things she said in the text was, you know, maybe the shelter needs a new director, and, you know, just woe is me. Yeah, exactly, Aurora. But she was throwing herself a little pity party in the text, and she made the comment that maybe the shelter needed a new director, and she's so sorry. And she went on and on. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 paragraphs of this, and I didn't really believe any of it at this point, based on everything I've heard about the shelter and everything I know about her. I didn't buy any of it. So I sent her a text back the next day. And I said, look, from the first time I spoke with you, you told me all these cats were 100% healthy. Everybody was up to date on shots. And you told me all this stuff, and none of it was true. I said, I don't know what's going on there, but I do agree that the shelter probably does need a new director. And I said, matter of fact, that's my suggestion. And I told her that within the next couple of days, I was going to send a public records request to the shelter, and I was going to copy. You know, it's the city funds this shelter. So I told her I was going to send a public records request to the shelter, and I was going to copy the mayor and the council and the city attorney, and that I was going to request everything I could. You know, starting with, you know, state law here requires that shelters keep a record of all animal intakes, how many of the animals were returned to their owner. Hey, Donna. And how many animals were euthanized, and then there's all these subcategories where they euthanize because of overpopulation, because of sickness, because, you know, for whatever reason. And they're supposed to keep records of, you know, what animal went to the vet, why, and what it cost. And they're supposed to keep these records on file for a minimum of 3 years. And the law says that monthly reports are to be compiled on all this stuff and made available to the public upon request. And you can't deny the public's request for any reason. Well, I had been talking to people at this point, which is kind of what led me to do that, and knowing full well that she did not have these records. I was told that, you know, she's not going to have any of this stuff. I've been told a lot about that shelter and about her, but that was the one thing that I thought, well, this is going to stick in the mayor's craw if I can prove that she doesn't have any of this stuff. Now, there were some other things going on, I think. I don't know if any of that's true, but there was some hearsay going around about some other issue that I can't confirm or deny because I don't know anything about it. But all I can say is that the mayor got his letter I believe it was last Thursday or last Friday, but I think it was Thursday. Pretty sure. At any rate, I sent him certified mail, so that tends to get somebody's attention when they get a certified letter and they say, hey, you got to sign this. But the day that he got his letter, there was apparently a meeting called in his office when the shelter director came in there and was asked to produce records, same records I had just requested, and she could not do that. And she was, like I said, there was another issue that had been rumored to be going around. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but to make a long story short, she was given the option to resign or be terminated, to which she responded that she would resign. So She is no longer at that shelter. It sounds like her, some of her other employees, one of them was promoted to interim director, and it sounds like she knows she knows what needs to be done, and it sounds like she will work with rescues, and I think she has her heart in the right place and will try to make that place improve. By all the accounts I've been told, all the employees were scared to speak out because they didn't want to lose their job. The one employee that was speaking out and had reached out to the mayor directly last year, she put in her 2 weeks notice and started telling the mayor all this stuff. This is what's going on. We shouldn't be doing it this way. This is what she's telling us to do. This is, we're not supposed to do this, yada, yada. Well, she put in her 2 weeks notice, and then the former director found a way to fire her after that, after she found out she had been communicating with the mayor. Fired her for some type of insubordination or something. So that kind of set a precedent where the other ones didn't really challenge her or the way they were being told to do things. So she gone. And hopefully that shelter improves dramatically as a result. At first I went back and forth on how I felt about going after her. At first I said, well, maybe she really didn't know. Maybe she just got overwhelmed, and she loves animals, and she doesn't want to euthanize these animals, and she got too many in there, and they just got sick. And then I started looking into things and hearing things, and I'm like, well, she is in over her head, and she's doing everything the wrong way. So I thought, well, maybe I will. I'll just go ahead and proceed with what I was doing. And then the Facebook stuff happened, and that really pissed me off. And then I didn't look back after that. I said, you're gonna get what's coming to you, because I can't prove it. I can't prove directly it was her, but who else would it have been? She, the day that happened, or actually, the day before, I think all the Facebook stuff happened. She called our vet and was trying to get status updates on the cats I'd pulled. Fortunately, the person she talked to didn't know anything about the cats other than they were there. But yeah, the next day, there were a couple of comments made on the post where we were trying to raise some money for the vet bills. And then that night, the messages started from the same account. So, who else would have done that? It wasn't the most sly attempt at doing something like that. But I hope all that's over with. I think there is great joy that she is no longer head of that shelter. And I think that sentiment is shared not just by me, but by a lot of people, especially a lot of local people that know how that shelter was being run. So yeah, between that and Clara being sick, or not being sick, but having some kind of allergy thing, trying to get our bathroom remodel done, and we had to have a hole in the wall patched, and we kept having to deal with repeat visits of that because he patched the wall and he had to put some mud on it, and then he sanded it and put some mud on it and sanded it and put some mud on it and then sanded it one more time to put the texture on the wall. And there's all of that. Plus it's getting to be springtime and yard work comes, and not to mention I have a full-time job. So yeah, we have our walls are textured. Hey, cat lover. So to repair the wall, he had to put the drywall in and put some mud on it, and then he had to let that dry and then come back and sand it, put some more mud on it, let that dry, come back and sand it, and he had to do that 2 or 3 times before he could put the texture on it. But it turned out really good. I'm happy with it. But now the real fun begins with the bathroom. We've got to set a date. I think we're going to try to get out this weekend and get all the materials we need for him to get started ASAP. And then we have a decision to make. Do we rent a porta potty for the duration of our bathroom remodel because we only have one bathroom? Or do we rent a hotel? Or I don't know. We got to figure all that out. I don't really love the thought of putting a porta potty in front of my house and having to use that for a week. But it may be what we do. Why are you biting me? Larry, funny that you mentioned that. We thought about renting one, but to rent an RV, like per day for an RV it would cost as much to rent an RV for the time that it takes to redo the bathroom than it would to rent a hotel for like 3 weeks, I think. I mean, some of these things are close to $200 a day for an RV. So then we got to thinking, we've always wanted a travel trailer. Well, what if we just go ahead and buy the travel trailer? But to buy the travel trailer, I think I've gone in great detail about all the things that have gone wrong with my truck. Hey, Rick. So if we got an RV or a travel trailer, I would want a more reliable truck to pull said travel trailer. And I wasn't totally against that because I've wanted a different truck for quite a while now. So I found a truck locally. It was a late model. I mean, it had some miles on it, but low mile for the year that it was. Not an old truck. I inquired about the truck and they said, well, actually a repeat customer has put a deposit down on this one. It's supposed to be sold on Thursday. I said, well, crap. Okay, so I went back to looking again and I found another truck, very similar. Same make, same model, very similar miles. Actually, a little less, a little fewer miles than what the other truck had. And I reached out to them. They didn't even have a picture of the truck on the website yet. It was a dealership. And I said, hey, I'm interested in this truck. Do you have any pictures of it? Oh, yeah, I'll get you some pictures. I'll text you some later. Okay, cool. So the day went on and passed, and the next day came and went, and I didn't get any pictures. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, I get this email that said, oh, we've been having trouble contacting you about the vehicle you're interested in. Is there a better way to contact you? I said, well, you sent me a text message saying you were going to send me pictures, and I never heard anything. And I think the email I got was an automated reply for something. I don't know why they decided to do that, but I replied, and then a little bit later, the person emails back and said, "Oh yeah, I sent out for somebody to take pictures of the truck and send them to you, but the truck's unavailable. Is there any other vehicles that you're interested in?" I was like, "No." I don't know what unavailable means. Does unavailable mean, the truck has been bought in an auction and it's not there yet? Is the truck sold? Is the truck being detailed before it's, put out on the lot? Help me out here. She just said unavailable. Truck's unavailable. So I replied, I said, "Unavailable question mark? I guess not then." But I don't think a new truck is in the cards right now, because if that's any indication, I'm trying to, yeah. So we kind of scrapped the RV idea because, one, we're about to pay a lot of money to have a bathroom remodeled. And we were talking about getting a truck, which is another monthly payment, and a travel trailer, which was going to be another monthly payment. And it just, I don't know, it scares me to take on that much all at once. I feel like I'm rambling and talking more than I'm showing you cats. So yeah, we're back to the drawing board on that. I'm trying my best to, which is why I started doing things to my truck again. I'm gonna go all out to try to make this truck right. I think it's feasible to make it run right. I hope it is. And if it's not, I'm not gonna spend so much money that I can't still trade it at some point. Yeah, the thing that bugs me, I don't know if you guys price new vehicles lately, but like a new truck, I've at the very least want an extended cab. I've had a single cab truck before and it sucks because, you have no storage inside of it. It's nice to have at least an extended cab and have the back seat where you can put a cat carrier or three, or, I can take the dog somewhere if I need to, or, if more than one person needs to ride with me, it's doable. But yeah, a brand new truck, like extended cab or 4-door truck, you're talking 30 grand. And that's, I don't know, I guess I'm cheap, but 30 grand is a lot. And it kills me that all the used trucks that I see, well, not all, but a lot of the used trucks I see, some of these are like 2014, 2015, 2016 model trucks, and they already have 100,000 miles on them, and they still want like $26,000 for them. And I'm thinking, no way. You're trying to sell me a 3 or 4 year old truck that's already got 100,000 miles on it, and you still want $25,000? You're nuts. Maybe that's just the going rate, but I'm very frugal-minded when it comes to that. But as it stands now, my truck is paid for, Melanie's car is paid for. We just had 100,000 mile service done on her car and had it tuned up and all that. It's still running good. Now if we can get my truck in the same boat, I know spec-wise my truck should be able to tow a trailer without any issue. Now mechanically, that remains to be seen. I'm just reluctant to pull a travel trailer any long distances. Yeah, Lily, Stumpy, Clara, Copper. Oh, and other cat news, last weekend I came up here and When I pulled up outside, I saw two cats that I had never seen before at the feeder. One appears to be pregnant. I had not seen it again since last weekend until tonight. Last weekend, the other cat that was with it looked to be like maybe a 5 or 6 month old kitten, and it was sweet, but they weren't sure of me. They would not let me get too close, but you know, every time the bigger cat would try to walk, the kitten just, I mean, would walk in circles rubbing up against this cat. I mean, I think they would be tameable, but I said I was gonna set a trap and try to get them, and I have not seen them again until, like I said, tonight when I got here. I saw the big gray cat, I suspect pregnant female cat. I did not see the other one, but it ran from me, so I might need to set a trap and just sit out in the parking lot and watch one evening, because I really don't want kittens running around here. Again, we've been down that road so many times. Yeah, me too. The dilemma right now is, what do we do if I catch her, you know? I don't have anywhere to foster any kittens right now. Laura from Paws is up to her eyeballs in cats. We were very low on fosters. I sent out 2 foster applications about 2 weeks ago. You know, we put out a plea for fosters, and 2 people jumped in and said, "Hey, can you send me one?" Sure, here you go. And the trend continues where we send them out and never get them back. So, what are you getting upset for? The copper's staring at me. Well, that would be very nice, Kimberly. We are foster poor. And then to add insult to injury, I got a message from a girl. I don't know if you guys remember the cat that I pulled from a shelter a while back in February. Her name was Addie. Well, we still have Addie. Addie has not been adopted yet. But the girl that I talked to from that shelter about getting Addie back then sent me a message today and said that, or she asked, you know, is Paws in a position to pull another cat? And I said, well, I don't really know. I'll have to ask why. Somebody surrendered their 10-year-old cat to the shelter, a 10-year-old cat, because they didn't have time for her anymore. I mean, I could not work at a shelter because, well, I could work at a shelter until that happened, and then they would fire me because I would probably let my thoughts be known. But the plan is right now, Laura didn't want to commit to it because, well, when I talked to her, she didn't want to commit to it because, you know, we've already got Addie, and now we've got Sadie that came from the shelter and in that ordeal. Sadie doesn't really like other cats. Addie doesn't really like other cats. And Laura was reluctant to take another cat without knowing how she was going to be around another cat. So I asked if she would give her through the weekend to see how she's acclimated. Because she said she's very sweet with people, but she did react to the other cats in the intake room, which is to be expected. The cat's been in a home for 10 years and then all of a sudden gets taken to a shelter, new environment with a bunch of strange cats around. But hopefully she'll calm down and she'll end up being sweet and we can get her and help. But I talked to Laura again this evening and I relayed what the lady at the shelter said, you know, because she only promised me. She said, well, I can promise you she'll be okay through the weekend, and then I can touch base with you again on Monday. And I said, well, whatever you do, don't euthanize that cat. If I have to clean out a room here at the office and make Lily absolutely miserable again, As long as you don't euthanize that cat, I'll do what I have to do. But I think Laura, based on the seriousness of that statement, she'll probably help me figure something out if it comes down to it. I just don't understand. One, I don't understand why somebody would take their cat that they've had for 10 years and say, I don't have time for you anymore. Time for you to go to the shelter. Two, I don't understand why a shelter would take a perfectly healthy cat, even if it is 10 years old, and say, well, we'll give it till Monday. You just give it a little bit of time. But there again, the shelter is probably getting inundated with stray kittens and all of that now, so unfortunately we don't have any no-kill shelters. We have some no-kill rescues that have facilities in other parts of the state, but we have no shelters that are no-kill. Well, Cat Lover, I asked if that was the case, but I asked what the circumstances were for her being dropped off at 10 years old, and the explanation I was given was they didn't have time for her anymore. If that's the only thing you can think of when somebody asks why you're giving up your cat is you don't have time for them anymore, then you should be punched in the throat. It's just my opinion, but one day my fingers are going to get me in trouble on Facebook because I've seen people surrendering animals like that. Oh, we just don't have time for them. We don't have time for them. And I always, well, I haven't done it lately, but in the not too distant past, I would leave comments like, I hope you never have children and decide you don't have time for them. You're just going to go drop them off somewhere and say, hey, I can't take care of these guys anymore. You do it. Can I pet you again? Or are you just going to scratch me? But anyway, we're going to think happy thoughts now. Hopefully she will either be pulled by another rescue, adopted, or we can help her. So yeah, sorry for all that negativity. I feel like I went from one negative thing to another. But I hadn't talked to you guys in so long. That's kind of what's been going on. I can't really think of anything else right now. Stella has, despite having the little hot spot and the rash on her tail, she has become a little more friendly, and she'll come out and sit on the couch with us again. Not all the time, but sometimes. She especially likes the blankets on the couch when those are there. But I have gone on and on and on for about 50 minutes now, and I have not even, hey Copper, I have not even scooped my litter boxes yet. So I think I'm gonna get started on that so I can get out of here before it gets too late, because I have another full day of tinkering with my truck tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff. Well, I got about half the stuff done that I wanted to do today. I've got about half that much more, and one thing that I've never done before that's going to be, I don't know. Come on, guys. I have a factory service manual that's hopefully going to help me, but I'm still nervous about it. But we're going to take it on and see what happens. But thank you guys. I'm sorry that it's been so long since I've done this. I know I promised this a week or so ago, so I figured while I was up here tonight, I might as well do it. Yeah, sorry, Lynette. I hate to leave as soon as you get here. But we've been going almost an hour. And like I said, I still got to scoop litter boxes and change water and then drive back home. So it'll be after 11 o'clock before I get home. But hopefully I won't go this long without a close-up again. I know it's been months, at least a couple months now. So, but thank you guys. Thanks for listening to me rant. Next time we'll be a little more cheery, or at least have less negative things to inform you of. So, but thanks a lot, guys. I will see you again very soon, I hope. And I hope you all have a good day and a good night. And we will see you next time.